Hello and welcome to Episode 4 of the Gibraltar FA Podcast. Nearly a decade has gone by since our men's national team took on Scotland. Back then in 2015, Gibraltar scored their first ever goal in UEFA competition. Providing that assist was today's guest, Aaron Payas. And with us today is Dayle Coleing to provide a bridge between 2015 and now. Let's get into it. First things first, welcome guys. Thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me. Good to be here.
Well, we're going to get straight into it. Obviously, both different stages of your footballing career. Yours is still in progress. You have retired from football, but you were both involved in the Scotland match, and obviously the team we're playing against next. So, Aaron, I'll come to you first. What do you remember from that time, Gibraltar's first qualifying campaign as UEFA members? What memories spring to mind?
So, a lot of memories. I think to get the easiest one out of the way, I remember Dayle couldn't catch a single of my shots in training.
We just mentioned every time.
So I feel proud of having helped his development into such a great keeper now. No, but on a serious note, it was memories for me. Maybe not many people know about it, but I had a very serious injury when we entered UEFA. So I had a double sportsman hernia operation. So quite a bad one for a footballer. So I spent the initial months and the first year just trying to recover, trying to get back into the national team. And so I got back into the team when we played Germany the previous October, November. We played Germany. There was that famous match where we lost 4-0 in away.
And that was when they were world champions as well.
That was when they had just won the World Cup a few months earlier. So, and that was our first real experience against a top team. And I was an unused sub for that match. And it was something which I said, I can't carry on being an unused sub. I need to get into this team, ideally into the first team. So I spent the next 4 or 5 months until the April match against Scotland, but also thinking about the June match against Germany again at home. Yeah. I said I'm gonna make sure that I get myself into shape and make sure that I earn my spot in the team. So what I recall from the Scotland match is how I spent. I remember I took all of this. Of course, people know I work at Hassan's. I spoke to the managing partner there, Javier Shinkota, and I spent the 10 weeks leading up to the Scotland match where I took off Tuesday and Thursday mornings off of work. Okay. So it was like 10 days of work, only 10 days leave. Sacrifice, don't tell my wife that. 10 days sacrifice.
I think she's going to find out.
Yeah, for sure. 10 days of leave, but that meant that I had from 9 a.m. to 2:30, where we start in the afternoon after the lunch break, for 2 days a week for 10 weeks. So a lot of training that I could put in extra. And I worked through that time. We worked very, very closely with Dave Wilson. And if you talk about stars aligning and all of the rest, I got into very good shape, and the GFA decided to remove Alan Bull as manager, and they put in as a temporary manager Dave Wilson. So just
everything
worked out
fell into place
perfectly.
for you.
And so that was how I earned my spot back in the starting lineup again. The atmosphere, the position that I was putting, instead of in a holding midfield role, I was in central midfield, which is my ideal role again, which was important for what was to come later in the match. But then the ultimate memory, not the ultimate memory because the goal was the biggest one, but it was just stepping onto the field, onto Hampden, just one of those special grounds, where Zidane scored the volley to win the Champions League, but then just lining up and hearing the Scottish national anthem with the bagpipes and the whole crowd. I don't think it gets much more emotional and overwhelming than that. With a little light rain falling, the Scottish
romantic,
cold, just perfect. And actually, Daniel Duarte has a great video of that. If you want to ask him for it, from his GoPro. Dave Wilson shedding a tear, all of these emotions. So Dale must remember. So that is a very long answer to your question.
That's all. That's what we want to hear.
Such a special occasion for me personally and for Gibraltar.
We'll get back to the match specifics as well, but Dale, I want to bring you in as well. Obviously, you were on the bench very young as well. That's your first experience. What memories do you have of it? How, when you think back of it, would you feel?
Oh yeah, whilst Aaron's talking, I'm trying to think of my memories of the 2 call-ups I had there. Now that you mention it, I remember Daniel beside me with the GoPro. I remember that. I remember Davey Wilson also shedding a tear. But like I said, I think that was my second call-up, and I think I was 17 at the time. I'd been training with the squad for years before that, so I knew everyone pretty well there. But the actual call-up itself was something that will always stay with me. But I was basically surrounded with my role models, and it was just amazing, surreal, just to be part of the squad and sitting in Hampden, like Aaron said, listening to the national anthem with the bagpipes. Was the atmosphere. The atmosphere is definitely something that sticks out, and it's something I'll always remember for sure.
And obviously, in your whole senior career, UEFA is all you've really known. You, on the other hand, you were part of the team that was pre-UEFA, post-UEFA. How was that feeling of, okay, we're here now? And then obviously the jump of level, how can you explain that, especially being a midfielder where that's where the battles happen?
Yeah, so it's chalk and cheese completely. So we went from being completely amateur, playing the likes of Keyworth and these Sunday League teams in the UK that used to come down for a few days, really to party in Marbella and play some golf, and they used us as an excuse to claim that it was actually a football trip. And we used to have those matches in the middle of summer. Used to play, as you know, at the Island Games. We won it in 2007. Big achievement for us. We had never won the gold in football. We'd come close before. But it was that type of match where really there would be a level of preparation, but if you had to have a drink, you had a drink. If whatever it was. But what prepared us really well was that we had a very good generation of players. So we had the strong Lincoln team of Daniel Duarte, Lee Casciaro, Brian Perez, Robert Gilling, Christian Sanchez. That team, but supplemented by myself, by Jogan Santos, by Kevin De Los Santos, Al Green, Peter Moreno. So a lot of good players and a very, very strong generation where we didn't need any form of motivation for us to work to our highest and play to our highest level. So you should have seen our training sessions, and we would have trained wherever, at the beach, at the old Bayside School, wherever it was, we would be just completely hardcore, ultra competitive, and that atmosphere, that culture, just helps everyone step it up. So when we got into UEFA, although it was a massive jump, it wasn't as if we needed an extra motivation to step up to the plate. It was the feeling was always, this should have come 10 years earlier for us. So I'm so happy for the likes of Dale to have experienced this and have those opportunities from a very young age. But I always think back to people like your father. I've had conversations with him. I'm sure he tries not to think too much of it because of how much he's missed. We've
spoken about it, obviously, me and my dad, and you can tell he gets a little bit emotional that it came too late for him.
For sure. So although it got me at a late stage, I was injured when we got in and all of these things, but I'm eternally grateful for having those 12 caps that I have.
Yeah, of course.
With this, we have players like Daniel Duarte that got a few caps, but just a bit too late. Al Green played the friendlies and never got to play, I believe, one of the qualifiers. So always be grateful for what you have, almost. But it was a massive step up, I think, for everyone. The GFA as an association had to really grow up and restructure. The coaching as well, everything. But I think the work that Alan Buller did with us and his vision to get us into UEFA. And I don't want to just identify him because it was a very collective thing. Yeah. But the matches that we won leading up to UEFA membership, where we beat Faroe Islands 3-0 here, we beat England Sea,
Portsmouth,
Rochdale, Portsmouth 4-0. Those were already a step above what we were used to, and we were just completely steamrolling these teams. Lee Casciaro at his best, Brian Perez, Robert Gilling, and all of us just that little bit younger. So imagine Roy Cipollina, but 10 years ago. Imagine how
a machine,
how good he was, and Joseph Cipollina and Liam Walker. So people forget how good they were 10 years ago, even though they're still excellent players now. So yeah, it was a big step up, but I think it came to the right group of people.
Yeah.
It could have come a bit earlier, but the players that we had at the time, like, we didn't need any motivation. As you've heard just now, I took days off just to train. Like it's no one was paying me for that. Yeah. But that was the mentality. Like, you train hard, I'm going to train a little bit harder. And so it's it was hard, but I think we coped with it as best we could, and better than people expected.
And memories for a lifetime.
Memories for a lifetime, absolutely, yeah.
It's a great, obviously, glimpse into what came before to what is now. You, Dale, you're the bridge. You were there for the first matches. You're still there now. Can you tell us a little bit of how you've seen the team develop, the setup develop from your perspective?
No, yeah, it's very, very different from then till now. I think, like we always talk about, I think it's a shame that they got towards the end of their career when we first got into UEFA. But I think if they were in our position right now, they'll be doing really, really well, just as good as us, obviously. But I was there as well when I was 15, 16 in Lincoln, so I know what Aaron's talking about. Yeah. That competitiveness and training at the time when no one got paid. Yeah. No pitch allocations. We turn up to Lincoln. That's what it was though. We turn up to Lincoln Club, go for a run, then go to the pitch there and do like little futsal.
Yeah, on the beach
as
well.
On the beach, and they had literally every single player that was a captain. It was crazy. Yeah. And the talent was on another level. We're talking about Lee Casciaro in his, not even in his prime, but when he was 10 years younger. And it's just a shame. That's all I can say. But coming towards where we are now, I think we've come a long way, structure-wise. I think as a nation and as a association, we're learning as we go along. Initially, the first few years, we were learning on the job, so I think it was a bit of a shock to everyone. I still think we're still learning, obviously, and we've still got a long way to go, but there's definite improvements in professionalism and setup. Yeah. I think the mentality's changed from people having a job to kind of being a professional footballer. There's more kids that are full-time footballers now, which is, I think, a step towards the right direction.
Yeah, when you've got a few that wanted a shout-out, no?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I hear.
A couple of players asked for a shout. TJ and Juju. But no, it's definitely going towards the right direction, and I think people forget how young we are as a nation. When was it? 2013. Yeah. So what? 11 years. Yeah. So it's fairly young in the eyes of UEFA, no? So
Slovakia, I believe.
Slovakia, the first game in friendly. No. So there's a long way to go. I think people just have to be patient, and good things will come.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we're here because of the Scotland match. It's a brilliant bridge between where we were, where we've come. But before we talk into specifics, there is a little quiz that I have for you guys, pit you guys against each other, and the winner gets this incredible Gibraltar FA pen. So,
let's see.
Big stakes.
Okay.
So, we're going to start with the starting 11, and you're going to get a point per player, but we're going to go 1-1. You're both involved in the Scotland away match. We see where you got the assist. So, aside from you, Aaron, who else played? Give me a name.
Jamie Rowe.
Okay, that's right.
Joe Cipollina.
Yep.
Ryan Casciaro.
Yes.
Lee Casciaro.
Yes.
Scott Wiseman.
Yes.
Dave Attell.
Yes.
Roy Cipollina. You haven't said Roy. No. Roy Cipollina.
Yep.
Adam Priestley.
Yep. There's two more. I believe.
Baden.
Yes.
Liam Walker.
Yes. Okay.
Wow.
And now a bonus point. A bonus point if you can name the 3 subs, and whoever says the 3 first gets the point.
The 3 that came in.
The 3 that came in.
Kyle.
Nope.
No.
Not Kyle. If you can name all 3, once you get the point. Yeah, you can guess again.
Daniel Duarte.
That's 1.
Gosling.
That's 2. Whoever gets the 3rd name gets the point. I'll give you a clue. Right back.
Jack Sargent. Right back.
Yep.
Right back.
His initials.
JC.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay.
So I mentioned him before as well.
You got the point. So I
Carlo
believe,
Garcia. So people know his.
I believe that's
full name.
6-5 for now. Right now, Dale, this goes for you. Against which 2 nations was your first international call-up?
Ireland and Scotland away.
No.
What do you mean?
Ireland,
My first call-up.
Ireland and Georgia in
Georgia
2014.
was before Scotland. It was Ireland
Yeah.
and Scotland away. Memory I've got, eh?
Ireland and Georgia. Yeah? You weren't called up against Poland.
No.
No.
Liam Neal.
Well, now Aaron, it's a bit of a hard one because you're 6-5 ahead, so it's fine. Can you name the 12 nations you got your caps against? Not the 12 nations because 1 is repeated. But name the nations you got your 12 caps against.
Poland, Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
Scotland,
Mm-hmm.
Germany,
Yep.
Belgium,
Yep.
Latvia,
Yes.
Liechtenstein.
Yes.
Do you need help? Bosnia.
Bosnia,
Yep.
the last one.
Faroe Islands.
Yep. And there's 2 more.
I played against Faroe Islands.
Yeah.
How do I know when you
played a friendly? Yeah.
I remember scoring against them before.
Yeah.
There's 2 more. 1 is a friendly, and the other one you play against twice.
I know. Can I say one?
The other one I played twice.
Yep.
Can I say one?
You helped me out, Dave.
Portugal.
Yep.
Portugal.
And then the other one.
And the other one twice.
Twice.
Who's the other one?
Are we giving him the points for this?
My
Because
kids are
Dale's
gonna
having
kill
me. 1 point. Give me 1 point for
Kids are
that.
gonna kill me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have got this one.
No? Twice we played
Twice.
against them?
The flag's white, blue, and black.
Estonia.
Estonia.
I remember that one.
Estonia, I remember once.
Dale, I know you know this
Oh,
because
boy.
I didn't realise, but you've got it tattooed on your body. But
That's the only way I remember.
who did you make your debut against?
Denmark. When was it? The 5th of the 9th, 2019.
Okay, it's 2 points for Dale. So now you're tied at 7-7. Aaron, you wore 2 numbers for Gibraltar. Which were they?
19 and 8.
Yep. And Dale, how many clean sheets do you have for Gibraltar in full 90-minute matches?
San Marino home and away. Liechtenstein friendly. Andorra friendly.
Yeah.
You look in your phone, so there must be another one.
There's 1 more.
Yeah? Well, 5 then.
Yeah, but who against?
Do I have to say the team?
Yeah, who against?
I can't remember.
I'll give you a clue. So San Marino twice, Liechtenstein, Andorra, and it's either Liechtenstein or Andorra again. So pick one.
Andorra again, I think.
Yeah, okay. So that's
Nice.
8-8, so we need a tiebreaker. It's a tie, so we need a tiebreaker. It's a bit hard, but we'll go to the nearest minute, so you both get a chance. What minute did Lee Casciaro score to tie the game at 1-1 with Scotland?
I'm saying...
And they went 1-0 up, and we scored almost immediately
you gave
after.
the pass, you would know. You gave the pass. I'm saying 17, minute 17.
17.
Me 13.
13, that early.
Here's your pen.
Yes.
What was it?
Lee Casciaro scored in the 20th minute.
20.
I was going to say 20.
So
as well.
Scotland scored.
I was going to say 20 as well.
Sean Maloney took the lead in the 18th, and almost immediately after, you provided the assist to Lee's goal, and everyone, including myself at uni, went crazy. You went crazy. So enjoy your
Thank you.
your pen. Show the people.
Oh, no, we got 3.
Show
one
the
each.
people. Yeah, show the people.
Aaron, for you.
Oh,
Very nice.
sportsmanship at its
Team
finest.
player.
Amazing.
But yeah,
Thank you very much.
congrats on winning the first ever Gibraltar FA Podcast Quiz.
Nice.
You should be proud.
I am.
You should be.
Extremely
People
proud.
are going to be jealous.
Yeah.
But on to that match now. Obviously, the assist. What goes through your head when you play the pass and you see it hit the back of the net?
Yeah, well, incredible moment. Much bigger than just your own personal satisfaction, which for me was amazing, particularly because of the story that I've told you, the build-up to that match.
A lot of sacrifice in the background. It's not just the pass.
Exactly. It's a lot of mental work, a lot of physical work, a lot of sacrifice. But then again, being in my position rather than in a holding midfield position, I was centre mid, and as a centre mid, I was always a box to box. So I always used to get for the forward ideally, and that's how this goal comes. Joseph Cipollina plays a ball forward, which down the wing, which Adam Priestley has dropped onto the wing, and he tries to control it, and basically it ricochets off of him and into my path. But I was almost in line with Adam Priestley, who was the centre forward. And perhaps there was a bit of complacency from the Scottish, because they had gone into an early lead. They knew that we were...
It's Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, not as good.
Yeah.
But I had that little bit of pocket, and I took two good touches. The first one to control, the second one to get it out of my feet. And I just, again, it's about a lot about, even if it's at that level, there's a lot of instinct involved, and I could see that out of the corner of my eye that Lee had gone on a run, he'd gotten the afterburners on.
Typical Lee style.
And through experience, you see that there's a gap that you can place the ball through. So, like the pass was a good pass. It's the difficulty of the pass was the fact that we were in that position, and it was early on in the match, and we had gone 1-0 down. But I just made sure that I placed a pass which Lee ideally didn't have to control, or not have to do too much with that, which is easier said than done. We see that all the time when the pass gets cut out by the defender, or the pass goes too wide, and then it's a cross rather than a shot.
And you see all the time in Premier League level or whatever.
It happens all the time. Like they should create I always say they should create a new statistic just for that, because of the amount of times that final pass goes astray. But then and the ball had the weight that it needed for Lee. And Lee decided to let it roll across his body and just hit it first time. Kept it low and underneath the legs or between the legs of the keeper. And just, it's going in, but you're just waiting for it to hit the back of the net. And then just complete madness, because we thought you almost get not that you believe it, but that the first goal, when was it going to come? Is it ever going to come? We were getting heavy defeats. And the beauty of that goal is that it wasn't a consolation goal. Yeah. We've scored many consolation goals, but this wasn't a consolation goal. So this was the attitude amongst the players was, we've just gone 1-0 down. Here you go, 1-1. And it's almost like bring it on, and then you concede 2 or 3, and it all goes away.
And they wrote it on.
but that feeling in that game, and of course the fact that you're now a part of history, and the amazing photos that were taken at the time, and just the moment has been immortalized for all of us. So it's just amazing to be part of that. So again, going back to being grateful for what you have. Yes, I would have loved to have had many more caps, and for this to have happened 10 years earlier. But for the reward for my hard work was that, and I'll never forget it, and
it's
always
not a bad moment to have, huh?
Eternally grateful, yeah.
Like I said, me at uni, I remember watching the match, and I went crazy, and then obviously the result happened, and my course mates were all like, well, you lost anyway, and I didn't care. I was like, but we scored. On the bench for yourself, being what was that like?
I just remember all of us on the bench going crazy. I've never celebrated a goal like that on the bench.
It was on Sky, I remember coming out with Gibraltar scored their first goal.
Yeah, the thing is, I remember it really, really clearly. I can picture in my head Lee letting the ball run across his body, the way to pass was perfect. It made the keeper come out a bit, and he just slotted it between his legs, Lee. And like, I remember the celebration. I remember running into the corner where our away fans were, and on the bench we were just going crazy. I remember Jamie Bossio was beside me, and I think it was a bit, we just couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Against a team like Scotland away in Hampden Park, it was a bit surreal. So we definitely made the most of that goal, for sure.
Obviously the result does come, and that can't be ignored, but what was the atmosphere like after the match? Obviously it's a big achievement despite what happened. The fact it's our first campaign, our first goal. I'm assuming it wasn't heads down and everyone all miserable. There was
for sure it wasn't. I think we and you don't see it as much now, but at the beginning, those first 10-15 matches, maybe a bit more, there were always a lot of silly mistakes and a lot of goals conceded through basic errors which we knew we could do better, and whether that was because of just that we weren't, we were still a bit amateurish, or it was the sense of occasion or the opponent that we had in front of us. But there were a lot of silly goals. And then we also had a bit of a pattern where in the second half particularly, we had like 10 minutes where we would concede like 4 goals, like ridiculous. We would go from...
Just as the second half would
start.
From really a good
whether it's the other team coming out switched on or us not,
Yeah. So, and I think that match we had those errors, so it finished 6-1 that match. So it shouldn't feel like a win. But not that it felt like a win, but it felt like a big achievement. Because we had other chances as well. We'd scored that goal, and apart from those errors, so we gave away a cheap penalty, that type of thing, they scored the goal where the ball was, I don't know, bounced what seemed to be like 100 times, and we couldn't clear it. Apart from that, we had a strong performance in any case. So it was again the first match after Alan Buller had been removed, and we were like building something different now. So whether it was going to be positive or not, it would remain to be seen. But that was a good start, particularly with that goal away. So maybe not felt like a win, but for sure we were quite upbeat and looking forward to the next match.
Scotland again now. Back in that time in 2015, they were going through a rough patch. Can be said themselves. They've come a long way. They qualified for the World Cup, I believe, last the Euros, and they won League B, and now they've qualified for the Euros, which they're going to in a couple of weeks. What are you sort of expecting from them? There's a couple of players in their squad that were there back in 2015, like Andy Robertson, their captain. What would you sense from them coming this way now?
No, they've got a kind of a younger squad now, very different, the players, but they've always had a very good level of football either way. They obviously went for a rough patch in 2015, but we're expecting a very, very tough game from both Scotland and the other friendly we have as well. But, we just go to the games as prepared as we can, and it's the same thing for us, no matter who's in front of us. So,
last time against Scotland, we've said this, you were on the bench. Now you are cemented as Gibraltar's number one. How far do you think, or can you say that you've come? We've talked about the team's development, but your own. You're there 10 years ago, you're still there now, young still, same age, so young still.
A lot of maturing, I think, on the pitch and off the pitch. It's a lot of training as well. I've been with Christian Wink as the keeper coach since I was there when I was 17. So apart from improving physically, he's always been there and helped me off the pitch psychologically. Because Aaron said it before, it's a lot more mental than a lot of people think. Everyone thinks it's just standing in goal and that's it. But there's a lot of mental side to it, psychological side to it. And it's just a matter of concentration, being in the game the whole 90 minutes. And I do feel I've obviously improved a lot since I was 17. Aaron couldn't score me then, and he can't score me now. But some things never change, you know what I mean? So, but no, all jokes aside, I've definitely come a long way, and still got plenty more to give.
Brilliant. Aaron, if you could, now that we're wrapping up, if you could pick one memory from your 12 appearances for Gibraltar and UEFA, before that, the time with the squad, if anything stands out, is it the assist or is there more to it?
If I need to pick one moment, it's definitely that goal.
Yeah,
the assist and the goal for sure.
Anything else that stands out?
A lot of things stand out.
Yeah.
A lot of good moments. Some other goals I've scored, like the first goal against Faroe Islands. Some last-minute winners against the likes of Bury from the spot. The Island Games win, triumph in Rhodes. That gold medal meant a lot to us as well. So yeah, there's a lot of moments, but I think the one that caps it off is that moment against Scotland. And
before I ask Dale the same question, I'm going to ask you about Dale. Obviously, you've seen his development as well, having been a teammate, and now just watching on. How far would you say he's come? What did you remember from him as a kid, basically, to now?
Yeah, no, I think he's come a very long way. He's a guy that when he was in his teens, he had enormous talent, his athleticism, his height. But I think, and he mentioned it now, I think the mental side of it is by far the most important. Yeah. So you can train as much as you want and sacrifice as much as you want, but if your mindset and your head isn't in the right place, then you just won't be able to perform at that level. There's a lot of eyes on you. I remember it was almost a joke. You mentioned Sky Sports, but it was almost a joke that we were now on Sky Sports HD. At the time, HD was just coming up. And I'm like, we're on HD and on TV. Like, it's kind of something special. But there's millions of viewers. We see social media now. I can only imagine for a goalkeeper. I don't want to put any negative thoughts into today, but imagine making a mistake in a match as a keeper. It's normally disastrous, and it just goes. That just circulates like wildfire through social media. So
now with social media,
so
everything goes viral.
The highlights are there and the lowlights are there as well. Unfortunately,
it goes viral. It's the most scrutinized position, being goalkeeper. I think
the only position you're not really allowed to make a mistake in.
I don't know why I became a keeper, to be honest. But
this is your choices at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I think just to finish that question, I think, and I'm happy to say it here, I think he still has a lot more to give. I think he can still step it up a few more levels, become a leader, become a captain, become a role model. I think he's had the benefit of, like he said, he joined when we had that great group of players. Yeah. I think he needs to pick up as much as he can from there, and just now he's not one of the young ones anymore. He's one of the most experienced players that we have. We have some of the older generation now moving out with Lee and Roy, and so he needs to now step it up, and he really needs to help us carry on this development. And I think there's no reason why he can't do it.
Sure.
Pressure's on then.
Pressure on the
We said it before, over 30 caps, highlights, lowlights, of course. If there's anything that sticks out, definitely the Nations League.
Yeah, I will say that one. My debut for sure, and winning the Nations League Cup. Those are the two.
What do you remember from your debut?
Sorry?
What do you remember from your debut?
My debut? I didn't expect it. I remember Julio called me to the office, and I think it was a couple of weeks before the game, and he basically said that I would be the keeper, the first keeper from now on. So it all came quite quickly, to be honest, and a surprise, but I think I took it quite well. Feels like a lifetime ago now, but definitely a game I'll never forget.
Well, I want to thank you both for coming on. It's been great to talk about obviously what it was back then, what it is now. Again, congratulations on your incredible pen. And that's it. That's episode 4. Gibraltar play Scotland next week in Faro, and we'd love for you all to be there. So get your tickets now and come support the guys.